And welcome to the instruction video for your Biology 1.1 internal assessment. Today you're going to be investigating the effects of pH change on an enzyme reaction, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing you need is safety glasses. These go on your face because the chemicals you're using are quite dangerous if they get in contact with your eyes. So the first thing you need to do is get some hydrogen peroxide. This will be distributed by your teacher. You need 20 mils of that. So up to the number 20, pour it into the first boiling tube. Another 20 mils for the second boiling tube. And finally 20 mils for the third boiling tube. Now, if you get any of this on your hands, you need to wash your hands immediately. It will give you a chemical burn if you don't. The next thing we do is add a couple of drops of detergent. Not too many, just 1 or 2 drops. Give it a little swirl around, that will sink down. Do the same in each test tube. The next thing you're going to do is get some potato. These have been cut into chips, which your teacher will hand out to you. Now, it's up to you how you want to arrange your potato, but I usually like to chop mine into 1 centimeter cubes and drop them into the test tube. Then the same again for the next 2 test tubes. So now you've got three boiling tubes, each with potato and detergent and sodium hydroxide, and you can see there's a little bit of foaming starting to take place. Now, what we want to do is measure the reaction rate and look at the pH. So this is your water. It's pH of 7. So I'm going to squirt that into here and see what effect it has. I'm going to get some hydrochloric acid and squirt that into this. It's got a pH of 2. See what effect that has. And sodium hydroxide, which has a pH of 14. Squirt that in there to see what effect it has. How do I measure the rate of reaction? I use my stopwatch. And I time for 1 minute. And I measure the height of the foam at the end of 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to use my ruler to tell me how high the foam is. Well, the reason I'm measuring the foam is because the reaction that's taking place is taking place between an enzyme, a chemical that's inside of the potato cells, and the oxygen, which is in hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is similar to water, but instead of being H2O, it's H2O2. It's got an extra oxygen atom attached to it. So the enzyme catalase, which is in the potato, chops off that extra oxygen from hydrogen peroxide and releases it into the solution, into the boiling tube, and that oxygen reacts with the detergent and creates bubbles. So we can see it's nearly 1 minute now for the first one. So after 1 minute, the height of this foam is 1.5 centimeters. I would write that down into my data table. I would then check the height of the acid foam, and that is 0.5 of a centimeter, and then the height of the foam from the sodium hydroxide, and that is 2 centimeters. So that's interesting. So I'm going to record that. I'm going to check my measurements again at 2 minutes and 3 minutes, and I'm going to write them down in my booklet. And then I'm going to repeat the entire exercise. So I want to repeat this times for each of the solutions. So I want 3 repeats for the water, 3 repeats for the acid, and 3 repeats for the sodium hydroxide. And I want to write them down in a data table, and then I'm going to make averages of my data, and then I can make a graph of those averages to try and tell me what's going on, which is having the greatest effect on the reaction rate between the catalase enzyme and the hydrogen peroxide, and why is there a change? Why is the reaction rate occurring? It seems like it's occurring faster. 2 minutes is up, so I'm going to measure this again now. And now this is up to 2.2 centimeters, so it's gone up by 0.7. This one is at 1 centimeter, and this one is at 2.7 centimeters. Why does the reaction rate seem to be occurring more quickly in the basic solution and in the water than it is in the acid? What's occurring to the enzyme, possibly, that's going to change this rate of reaction? And that's what you need to focus on for your conclusion, and your teacher will talk to you a little bit about that before you get started.